Yo, what up, Ghost? How you doing? What strat am I backtesting? I'm not really backtesting a strat. It's just ICT, right? But do you know what ICT is or no? Or are you talking more of like what ICT strategy? If you're talking about ICT strategy, it's mainly just like liquidity and fair value gaps. I don't really trade order blocks or breaker blocks, all that. I like keeping my stuff simple. Kind of show you, see if I can. We on a bit of a win streak right now, up about 1700 on this session, risking about 200. It's supply and demand back in the day. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. For me, I started off silver bullet. I will say, Ghost, because I started off trading, what do you call it, support and resistance, and then after that I switched to supply and demand, right? And then after that I switched to ICT. So I think in supply and demand you're looking mainly for like order blocks, right? So something like this, right? This is a demand zone or a supply zone, right? You wait for a retrace, right? And then short. For me, I used to do that, but it's just, for the most part, I would find my trades just ended up getting blasted through and I just kept taking losses. So I stopped doing that, and instead I started trading ICT. And basically just all I'm looking for is some sort of liquidity sweep, right? Where we break past a single low, right? Where we have like basically a whole bunch of liquidity, a whole bunch of relatively equal lows, or maybe a giant wick or something like this, right? So maybe like a giant wick like this. So I'm looking to see for this to either get swept. So once this gets swept, I'll look for the reversal to the other side, and then I'll use fair value gaps to use as an entry. So I'll kind of see if I could show you right here. So far it's looking a little bit bearish. Do you know what a fair value gap is, Ghost? I think it'll be a little bit easier if you knew what a fair value gap was. I think it's supply demand. You're basically, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't. Think you guys use fair value gaps? I'm not too sure. But yeah, I try to keep my trading just pretty simple. Because before I'd overcomplicate. Okay. Oh yeah, no, because you're starting to trade, was it silver bullet? I don't know what the silver bullet is. I think it's like the Judas swing, right? It's the same thing, right? You wait for 9:30 open, and then around there, I think around 10 o'clock. Oh, so you know everything. Okay, so yeah, so let me see if I can show you. Yeah, so basically, I'll also use inversion. So basically the two things for my trades are, we drew our supply and demand with the, oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, so let's see. So basically the main thing I would say is, what I'm looking for is, one thing that is kind of a non-negotiable for me, I would say, is I need some sort of drawn liquidity, right? Once I'm able to have this, I could use this as either a target, right? Oh, I could use this as a target. Oh yeah, so basically that, okay. Yeah, I used to look into the silver bullet, but it never worked for me, or I didn't know what I was looking for, if that makes sense. So I didn't really do well with that. But yeah, basically I'm just looking for a drawn liquidity. I'm either targeting it or waiting for it to get swept, right? So it's either it gets swept, and then once it gets swept, I'm looking for the reversal, right? So I played the opposite side, if that makes sense. And then I'll use inversion fair value gaps or just a normal fair value gap tap. And I really like the 5-minute time frame, right? 5-minute time frame. I like a 5-minute fair value gap retrace, right? Fair value gap, and then I'll take a 1-minute entry, basically. So let me see if I can show you right now. Let's see. Except this price action is kind of trash, so it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, let's see. So something like this, right? You see how there's like this one wick right here, just in the middle of nowhere. So basically, what I want to see is something either like this, or we're just gonna target all the way down here. So these are like the two scenarios that I'm playing in my head right now, right? It's either we kind of sweep this low right here and then reverse to the upside, or we continue to sell off. Once we break past this point, right, and continue to sell off, I'm gonna target these areas. So let's see if we even get it. So market open. Okay, so looks like we swept this, so now it's kind of an interesting spot. So we started inversing it. So this would be technically kind of what I'm looking for, right? We inverse this fair value gap. However, the reason I won't take this trade, I'll just put it out so you guys, so you could see, right? The reason I wouldn't take this trade is we already swept the nearest liquidity, right? Let's say this wick was something more like this, right? So let's say there's like a wick like this. I still have something to target, right? So I could at least target this before, and then I can put my stops break even and do whatever and try to hold runners till here or here, right? But the fact that we already took this wick, right? We already took it. I don't like it too much, but we did inverse it, and that's pretty strong buy candle up. So I'm maybe expecting us to kind of push towards this level, but we'll just have to see. But I'll try to hold runners till here. Let's kind of just see what happens. So yeah, see, we end up taking this, right? And then I'd probably scale half right here, right? And then put stops break even and try to hold the rest of my trade till right here. So something like that. Will it happen? I don't know. Yeah, see, so that's why you put stops break even and all that. So but see, now we're starting to sell off and continuing to push towards these levels, right? So now I'm looking to short. So basically how I'm gonna look to short is if we either open up another fair value gap, get a small retrace, and I'll get a re-entry somewhere right here. So let's see. Or we could just end up taking all of that. So that kind of ruins the plan a little bit. But so now my next step is to look for more liquidity targets, right? So if we are to continue selling off, where would we target, right? So you want to target the wicks, the relatively equal highs, relatively equal lows, stuff like that, right? So you want to target areas of liquidity. At least that's kind of what I like to do. And then so you see how we're still selling off really aggressively, right? So I would believe that this would be the area of interest that we're looking for. Oh, you found me from the payout video? Is it the Tradeify video or the which one? I've pretty much gotten payouts with Apex, my funded futures, Tradeify, so, and I'm gonna be requesting another payout next week, so that's pretty cool. I'm hoping that this month, I kind of messed up my chances of being like this being a 10K month, but yo, what up, L? What up, my guy? Hey, I didn't see you yesterday, bro. You missed yesterday's stream. I didn't see you yesterday. What up, Blazer? Funded futures? Yeah, my funded futures is awesome. Yeah, it's going good, man. It's going good. Took a trade today here. Let me show you guys. I also took a trade today, so I'm up pretty nicely on that. But yeah, I'm gonna be requesting a payout. I think it's Tuesday for 3.5K, and then after that, it should be another. I'm hoping by the end of this month, maybe another 8K, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think I made about 500 on 5 different funded accounts. So how much is that? 2,500? Nah, dude, I streamed yesterday too. Yeah, you missed it. And you know Chris too. I haven't seen Chris yesterday either, so. Oh yeah, so yeah, sorry. As I was saying, Ghost. So basically, yeah. You see how aggressive we're selling off, right? You see how aggressive these candles are? I'm still thinking that this is going to be the area of interest. So I'm going to, what I personally just call it, I'm going to ride my trade into it, right? For me, the necessary thing, like I mentioned before, right? I need some sort of drawn liquidity, right? I use this for 2 different things. I use it to either target, right? Or play the reversal. So these are the 2 things that, this is why this is the most important part of my trading. I need some sort of drawn liquidity, right? And then anything after that, order blocks, like I said, I don't really trade order blocks, but occasionally maybe it's so clean I'll use it, but for the most part it's a fair value gap. And then I could use that as a normal fair value gap or an inversion fair value gap, and that's pretty much it. So let me see if I could show you right here. So I'm assuming that we're going to continue selling off. I want to see a retrace. Can I show 2 trades that I took on funded? Sure. Let me pull up trading view. I took it near the end of the session today, so it was very close. I took one during London, actually. Okay, I took one last night. Okay, yeah, so Laser. I hope you don't call me, or I hope you don't mind me calling you Laser. But if we pull out, would you be looking for sales and premium? No. So for me, Laser, I don't care about premium discount. I swear. I literally do not. I've never found it useful in my opinion. And the reason for that is I just trade what is currently happening, right? So the biggest thing that I have found ever in ICT trading is waiting for, because you know when you're trading ICT, right, you see how many fair value gaps we have, right? And sure, you could base your fair value gaps like which one's most likely gonna hit, right? Which one's most likely, you could draw a fib out, sure, and you could maybe assume that it's gonna retrace into discount, right? Or sorry, premium, right? It's gonna retrace into premium, and the most likely bet is probably this one going to be a hit, right? But just based off how aggressive we are selling off, what it's kind of telling me, or how I interpret it, is we want to take this liquidity really bad, and that's kind of why we're selling off very aggressively. So there wouldn't really be an opportunity for me to get in a trade, because guess what, we might bounce off this one and maybe this one instead, right? But the thing that I don't like with ICT is there's a lot of guesswork when it comes to a fair value gap, right? Guessing which fair value gap's gonna hold or not hold, right? Like for me, that's why I always wait for a close out of a fair value gap, and this was like the cheat code, right? I swear to God, I was not profitable until I learned this, right? You wait for a retrace into a fair value gap, but you never just buy or sell when you retrace, right? I would always wait for a close out of it, indicating strong, like it's gonna hold that support or resistance, right? Like you need to wait for a strong candle close out of it, if that makes sense. So let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Because okay, you know, after sweeping this level, right? After sweeping these two levels, right, relatively equal lows, right, this would be really nice to send us higher, right? This would be really nice to send us higher, right? However, we're not instantly having a lot, or you know, we're not instantly buying back up. Instead, we're continuing to sell off past the point, right? So what that's telling me is, yo, this was never the area of interest. This is, right? Because we're still continuing to sell off. So if we get a retrace, I want to ride my trade going into the drawn liquidity, right? So let's see. Okay, you see right here, this is kind of what I'm talking about, but it's not the best example for me personally. I would have liked to see maybe a 50% retrace out of the fair value gap, right? But this could work, right? So just because of how aggressive it is selling off, right? I hope this works just so I can show you, but just because of how aggressive I don't know if this is a tap or not, but it looks pretty close to tap. Just because of how aggressive we are selling off, right? What that's telling me is we don't really want to rebalance the market, right? Because when you think about it, fair value gaps are, you know, areas of like interest, or not areas of interest, areas of imbalances, right? So would you not call that too discount for those lows? Yeah, for me personally, no. I don't really mind it. Of course, it could go against me, but I probably should have taken profit already. But I'm just trying to show you kind of the gist of what I'm talking about. Because for me, I have for the most part haven't really found premium or discount to be useful. Okay, so for me, another entry would be is if we close below this inversion right here. Let's see. Okay, so it's not always gonna happen, but yeah, that's pretty much. We might end up reversing now. Maybe this was just a deeper retrace, but let's see. That's why you have to be kind of flexible. So if it continues to show me that it wants to buy back up, then I would be bullish. So you see right here, right? You see how this candle right here closed pretty strong out of the fair value gap, right? I would never really enter a trade off of this candle or this candle, right? Even though like the risk to reward would be really nice, right? Even though the risk to reward would be really nice entering off of this one or this one. Where would I invalidate the bias? For me, I try not to have a bias. Like, obviously it's really helpful, right? For me, how I invalidate is I just look at price delivery, right? So what I mean by that is at this point right here, right? The reason why I wanted shorts was it looked pretty decent for shorts because at first I thought this was drawn liquidity, right? But I guess I'm wrong, right? So now I have to readjust, right? And why I would, or how I would readjust is it still makes sense for this to be an area of reversal, right? This still makes sense for an area to be a reversal. It's just when we were right here, I thought that because we were so close, I thought we might as well take in that low, right? We didn't end up doing that. So instead I was like, okay, you know, we did end up sweeping liquidity. It's still fine. The longs are not bad, right? Just because your bias is wrong doesn't mean you should immediately flip your bias. But the reason why this one looks pretty decent for longs now, right? So something like this, right? Or maybe like this, right? And doing this, is because look at the price delivery, right? And what I mean by that is, like I said, look how big this one bullish candle is. Look how big this one bullish candle is. Look how big this one bullish candle is, right? And you see how hesitant we are to keep continuing to sell short, right? If we were to retrace into this fair value gap like we did right here, right? I want to see immediate rejection and continue selling off, right? That's not what we ended up doing. Instead, we're kind of slowly grinding down, right? We're kind of hesitating, right? And then all of a sudden you get a massive candle right here and then slow grind down. And then you get massive candles, right? So that's telling me kind of maybe the order flow has changed. Into range and then sell off. But then again, the 15-minute sell liquidity looks bullish. You know, that could happen. I'm not saying it can't, right? That's why you're not always going to be like 100% correct, right? When you put on a trade, right, you have to understand that, yo, like, this might not always work, but you got to put on risk for it to, in order to make money, right? So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I should take this, though. It does look really good. I would much rather to be extra safe. If I were to take this play, right, live time, I would wait for maybe a 5-minute to close and then retrace into the 5-minute, and then I'll look on the 1-minute to see if it's holding or not. So let's kind of just see. So let's see. I would wait right here, right? Because I still don't know, because it's a little bit still too early for me to tell. So I want to see if this is the drawn liquidity, and if we reverse from here, that would look really nice. If not, and we kind of sell past this point, then the original bias is still gonna play out. So let's see. Okay, so right here, right, doesn't look like we're gonna sweep this liquidity, which kind of sucks, but we're starting to push. So it's kind of hard to sell. Like, this is kind of, when you're in between two areas of interest like this, I would say hands off. 5-minute order block. Are you saying for shorts or for longs? It does. I think you're talking longs, right? Maybe it looks pretty decent. Yeah, I would have liked to see that get swept though. Longs, yeah. So okay, so see, this is the minimum requirement for me to take a long now, right? It's because just we had all these stacked lows. The 5-minute down. Okay, I see. So like this one right here. Yeah. Not violated. Yep. For me, I don't trade order blocks, so I'm not too sure how that would play out. But for me, okay, so now two things, right? This is the minimum required for me for me to take a long now, right? Just because we swept some sort of liquidity, right? If not, and we continue to sell past, then this is still my drawn liquidity, right? So I gotta be flexible here. So now let's see if I get some sort of reaction. So for me, I would probably take a long if we inverse this one right here. So if we inverse this fair value gap up here, I would take that. And if we continue to sell off pretty strongly, then I'll probably take a short. Okay, so right here. So now I would take a long. Put my stop below the inversion, right? And then target the high. And this looks pretty decent for me. And it doesn't work out. Okay, and we continue to sell off. Market structure shift. Me, I don't wait for a market structure shift. Bit of a choppy session though. But yeah, you see how this was like still the drawn liquidity that I wanted, but it was kind of giving two different biases, I guess. Two different drawn liquidity, and when that happens, it's kind of hard to tell which side. I want it to be absolutely clear for me to take a trade, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So see, we did end up sweeping that, so now we might just start reversing to the upside now. Let's see. Just because that was like the major low that, right? That we wanted. There is still maybe a miniature low right here, but kind of see. But yeah, let me go to the next session now. Try to get some more wins under my belt. But yeah, I think you were right. If I did wait for a market structure shift, I think it would have worked out for a little bit, or at least helped me prevent myself from taking that loss. Okay, so we did end up taking this liquidity, right, on the 4 hour. So let's kind of just see. We also do have a volume imbalance. I don't really use this, but I will understand that this would be an area where we will retrace, right? So it is what it is. That's what I'm saying, bro. Can't win them all. So we swept that liquidity and we're still starting to sell off, right? So now I'm thinking, like I said, like the last trade is, I want to see how we react at this fair value gap. So if we kind of disrespect it, close above, looking bullish, but if not, and continue to sell off, then I wouldn't be surprised to sell off. This is the candle close for me, right? So this would be like a strong candle close. Could you go through narrative of the trade? Yeah, I could do that. Let me just put on this trade real quick and try to target maybe this one. I don't know if this trade is gonna work, but let me just throw it on there. So this is what I'm talking about when I say I want to see a fair value gap hold, right? Like a strong candle close out of it, right? Like I wouldn't take any of these taps over here. I would wait for a candle close out of it and then I would take the trade. I really hope this trade works out just so I could show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so you see what I'm talking about? Like I want to see it hold before I do pretty much anything, right? Okay, so that ended up working out slightly, but okay, so a narrative for a trade. Are you talking like top-down analysis or what? Is it like top-down analysis that you're talking about? Or are you talking about like narrative, like how I come up with like still profit though? It's still profit, you know. It wasn't the cleanest, but we did end up retrade. Okay, so top down. Okay, sure, I got you. Oops. Okay, so every single time frame you see up here is the only one I use. I don't care about daily bias. I don't care about the monthly. I don't care about the weekly. I don't care about the daily, right? Because I'm a scalper. My trades are like I'll hold for like 5 minutes, 1 minute. Sometimes it's a couple seconds, right? There's no point in me having to look at what the monthly is doing. Like there's no point, right? So I try to keep it simple, right? So I'll go on the 4 hour, right? And the only thing that I do with the 4 hour and the 1 hour, right, is there's two things, right? Is either I see if there's a liquidity sweep or if there is a target. Same thing, right? So for in this instance, right? Also, I'm making notes. Is it possible if I... Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, no problem. I got you. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so the higher time frame is just two things, right? So the 4 hour, right? So the higher time frames for me would be 4 hour, right? You don't have to do it, but this is kind of what I found that works for me, right? So the 4 hour, 1 hour are usually my higher time frames. And sometimes if these are not clear, right, and you get like really bad choppy price action and I can't tell, I'll probably just use the 15-minute. But for the most part, like my 15-minute and my 5-minute are kind of my mid ranges, right? Just to see what fair value gaps there are. That's pretty much it. And see if there's like a news candle. But yeah, so higher time frame, right? This is not the important part, but I kind of just want to give you context for how my system works. And then this is kind of like my mid range, right? And then the 1 minute And the 5-minute is still my kind of lower time frame as well. Right? So, basically what I'm trying to achieve with the higher time frame, like I said before, right, is two things. One is drawn liquidity. That's actually drawn liquidity is pretty much it. What I'm looking for is to see if there's a swing low or not. A swing low or relatively equal lows, or like stacked lows, right? So what I mean by that is, okay, you see this right here, right? This would be liquidity right here, right? You see how they're relatively equal? I want to, if I'm bearish, I would target that, right? And okay, so here, I think this would make a little bit more sense actually if I do this. So let's say at this point in time, right? I'm just looking at the 4-hour and I have nothing drawn out, right? I would just draw the nearest, this is all I would do. I would draw out the nearest liquidity target, right? Or swing highs, swing lows, fair value gaps. That's pretty much it. Actually, I don't even use fair value gaps on the higher time frame. Yeah, laser. So in this case, would you be looking for longs? Hour 4 has been bullish pullback. BISI 2. Yeah. Okay. That's a great point you brought up. I would say no. Actually, it's kind of half and half. I'm always kind of going into the market with a little bit of like skepticism, if that makes sense. And the reason for that is ideally I would be looking for longs if this gets swept. So we do something like this, right? If we sweep this low, I would be looking for longs, right? Until then, I would probably look to target. I would look to short, riding my trade into the liquidity, right? But the reason why I say I go into the market with a little bit of skepticism is, if that doesn't happen, right? Because you're not gonna always end up sweeping liquidity, right? Like, for example, right here, right? We got pretty close right here, right? We were selling off right here. We got pretty close, but we didn't end up doing that, right? And guess what? Instead, we just started pumping. So you have to understand that that's also a possibility, right? So until that happens, and how I will determine that is, okay, so let's say on the higher time frame, this is what I would want to see happen for longs, right? If we don't get that, and on the lower time frame, and we do something like this, right? So if on the lower time frame, we start, you know, breaking market structure, right? Making higher highs, higher lows, and we start retracing, and we start aggressively buying back up. And there are clear targets to target, right? For longs, then I would switch my bias to long, right? Even though we didn't sweep that major hourly low. So let me see. Let's kind of just see what happens, just so you get a good idea. So it looks like we did try to push up at one point, right? It looks like we did try to push up at one point. Never ended up doing that, right? And you say you remember how I said I wanted to see this, the minimum requirement for me to take longs was to see this get swept, right? Now that that's gotten swept, right? Now I would be looking for some longs. I don't know if we're gonna get it, but market structure has to kind of continue doing what it needs to do, right? But there's not a lot of follow through right now, so. But yeah, so let me go on the higher time frame and kind of show you what I'm talking about. So I'll do top down analysis from the top, right? From the top. Okay. Right here, right? Would you look at the power of 3 of the session? Nah. I'm telling you, laser, try to simplify your ICT learning and it's gonna do wonders for you. So I do have it in the back of my mind, right? You know, Asia accumulates, London manipulates, and what is it? New York distributes, right? However, that's not really gonna conflict with my bias, right? I just read price action for what it is, right? So let me just show you for a second, right? Pretend we just got on the markets and we're looking at the 4. We're gonna do our top down analysis right now, right? We're gonna do our top down analysis right now. I'm looking at the 4 hour. Remember what I told you? I'm just gonna draw out the nearest swing high or the swing low, right? Alright, that's really it, right? And what I could see that I'm drawing like these context candles, right? So I I draw this context candle right here, or this context line, and what I mean by context line is this is giving me context for why we're having an aggressive buy back up, right? Because what, remember, we're overall in the higher time frame, it's pretty obvious that we're looking bullish, right? It's pretty obvious. So this, like you mentioned this earlier, you said that this was just gonna be a retrace, right? And you're right. However, I said that the minimum requirement for me to be long would be to see this liquidity get swept, right? So we did end up doing that, right? And we're starting to push out of it. So that's why we're continuing to push, right? So now when I see this candle, right? When I see this candle, my immediate reaction would be, okay, I'm long the 4 hour. Like it's just, I don't pay too much attention to it, right? I'm not worried about this order block, right? I don't care about this order block. I don't care about like a hidden breaker block. I don't care about that, right? The reason I am bullish, I keep it so simple, is liquidity, right? Number one, we swept liquidity and we're starting to displace higher, right? Where is the nearest target if we are to continue being bullish, right? And my answer would be the swing high right here, right? So that's all I do on the higher time frame, right? So now I go down to the 1 hour just to kind of refine it, but there's really not much to refine. I'm just kind of taking a quick peek, right? And another way to tell how order flow has changed from bearish to bullish, right? See how aggressive this bearish candle was, right? You see how big it was, right? We kind of just blast straight through it and we kind of close above, right? So what you should also ask yourself, what's being respected and what's being disrespected, right? If we were to be bearish, right? If we were to retrace into this level and we were dumped, you know, we should sell off, right? But that's not what ended up happening. We close above, we disrespect it, right? So now what that's telling me is we want to push for this liquidity right here, right? So if that high is broken, then we can look for internal range highs too. Yes, exactly. So once your higher time frame targets are pretty much getting hit, right? You kind of just have to resort to the lower time frames to see. But like, so let's say our first target is here, right? And let's say, okay, maybe we took this and we couldn't find another entry. If we continue being bullish, where would my next target be? These relatively equal highs right here, right? You see how there's like, they're kind of grouped together. So that would be my next area of interest, right? So let's just ignore that for now, right? And let's kind of break it down simply. I'm on the 4 hour, 1 hour. I don't really see much on the 1 hour. I don't really care about the fair value gaps, right? So let me go to the 15-minute. Your chart shouldn't look overly over the top, right? You should just kind of keep it simple, just so it doesn't crowd your stuff, right? I'll even get rid of this fair value up because my immediate bias, just looking at the 4 hour and the 1 hour, right, is I'm bullish, right? And the reason, the most important for me is I at least have a target to ride into my trade into, right? And what I was saying is about that swing high, right? So that's very important for me, right? If we're close to a swing low or swing high, that's what I would expect to see get hit, right? So another example, so let's say we had like a swing high over here, a swing high over here, right? And price action is doing something like this, right? Let's say price action is doing something like this, right? Would you be short here? I know we're like in premium, right? And you would want to see shorts, but for me, so let's say this is like a swing high up here, right? There's like a whole bunch of swing highs up here. I would expect for us to at least run this before we take shorts, right? Before we target the other side. Just because we are pushing towards this area of interest. What I'm thinking is like the you know, the institutions, the hedge funds, the market makers, right? They want to target this area. So I'm just riding the trend with them, right? The trend is your friend. That's also a big thing. Try not to play reversals if you can help it, right? So in this instance, right, I know a lot of ICT traders would look for a liquidity sweep and then target the other side. That's not, because I still do that too, but I would much rather, or what I have had success with is targeting liquidity instead, right? Like riding my trade into an obvious draw, right? So that for me, this is like pretty obvious. So now I'll go on the 5-minute, right? So now this is the big thing. The 5-minute, all I'm looking for is still the same thing, is see if we get like a liquidity sweep or a fair value gap. I love my 5-minute fair value gaps, right? Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Yep. But at least for now, right, we have some sort of target to ride into longs, right? I know it looks scary, right? Just because of how close or so high we are without any pullbacks. But how I think of it is, I'm not really scared. How I interpret it, right, is we are so close to our target, right? But we might as well take it, right? Even like ideally, sure, we would want to see a retrace, something like this, you know, balance out the market, go to equilibrium, right? But you're not gonna always get it, right? How I interpret it is we're so close to the target and we're starting to push that this is the obvious draw. We want to take this level, right? So let me see if I can find an entry. So I'm on the 5 minute, right? I'm like, okay, I can't really see anything, you know. I'm drawing these like context things, right? I can see that this fair value gap we pushed out of, right? We pushed out of this fair value gap, and we're starting to hold, right? We're holding all these bullish fair value gaps. So now let me just kind of play out price action, because it's still not clear to me, right? Because you don't want to just randomly buy the button even though you know the draw and liquidity is, everything has to align, right? So let's kind of just play price action out, right? And you see, so obviously I didn't get an entry, but you see how I was able to read the draw and liquidity, right? Just from a simple thing. I don't want you to overcomplicate ICT, because the worst thing you could do for yourself is overcomplicating things, right? I told you, even though we were so high up, I know a lot of people are scared to buy this high up, but like I said, it's so obvious that like we want to push for this level that I would like to try to find a trade riding into this level, if that makes sense, right? Obviously, I never found an entry, but it's okay. So now is what we were talking about earlier, right? What you were talking about earlier as well, right? Is now that our target has been taken, right? The shorts are still in, they could be in play now, right? They could be in play now. They could be in play now. However, I don't know, right? I don't know. So basically, I'm just gonna sit it out and wait for the reaction, right? So we ended up taking this level. So let me just put this over here so I know, right? But we still have more targets, right? We still have more drawn liquidity targets over here, right? Relatively equal highs, right? And I don't know if we still want to continue being bullish and target that. So I'm just gonna sit it out, right? The most dangerous trades are when like after you take liquidity and you're kind of high up or too low, so you don't know where the drawn liquidity will be next. But so yeah, so based on this, right, it looks pretty bullish still, right? It looks like, and the reason for that is what, we still have targets, right? So that's why it's okay. If you have no targets and we're super high up, I wouldn't even think about longing, to be honest. But in this case, in this example, it's fine. And the reason it's fine is we have targets, right? So as long as you always have a target in mind, I think that'll save you a whole bunch of headache and a whole bunch of you know, like you wouldn't be as nervous when you take a trade, right? See, so we ended up taking that, right? And look, we got no retrace at all, even though we've just been pumping nonstop, right? You see? So after that, I asked myself, okay, do I have another target if I'm long, right? Do I have another target if I'm long? And I do. So another target that often, well, that could be a target, sorry, is a fair value gap fill, right? So on the higher time frames, we like to fill in the fair value gaps usually, right? So my next target would be a fair value gap fill. If not, it'll be another swing high, right? So I'll kind of just draw that out to see, right? So that this is going to be my 4-hour fair value gap fill. If we continue to push, I still have a target at least, right? If not, and we continue to push, I still have a target at least. So now, but I do have to be careful, is because if we start showing market structure to the downside, then I'll probably target something like this, my drawn liquidity or my drawn liquidity, right? So you have to have kind of like a narrative for both sides. But right here, I would be a little bit careful again, right? Just because we took liquidity again, right? So I'm just kind of watching it, and see how we react, right? How do we react off of this level? And look, okay, we're starting to sell off. So now this is telling me after this liquidity sweep, right? You think we push? Yeah. Yeah, the expansion is strong, exactly. At the same time, right? Because how strong on the 4, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, so sometimes you'll be able to easily pick up on that. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's very strong, right? So now I would be a little bit skeptical though of longs, just because we're starting to sell off, right? And this sell-off doesn't necessarily mean we're bullish, right? This could just mean this is just a deeper retrace and then we head higher, right? No, you're wrong. You're not wrong at all, bro. Sure, the play was wrong, but like I think I think you understand what I'm trying to say is, like, this is just kind of a retrace, right? This kind of just a retrace before we head higher, right? So maybe because sometimes you're a little bit too early and it might not end up working out, right? So we just don't know. So now I draw out the nearest liquidity, right? On the 4 hour, obviously we're not gonna sell off, because if I were to take a trade, right, and where would be my nearest drawn liquidity if I were to take shorts, right? It would be like probably down here, right? That's not realistic, right? So I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in and just see. Okay, do I have any other targets? I really don't have on the 1 hour, right? Let me check out the 15. And on the 15, it makes a little bit more sense. We have a swing low right here, right? So I'm like, okay, you know, maybe this could be a retrace where we could go, right? Where we could target. I don't know yet. 5 minute, there's a pretty nice 5 minute fair value gap. All right. So I'll just keep that in mind, but for now, I wouldn't really care. I just kind of want to see how we react after this low, right? So there's two things that could happen, right? Is if we sweep this and then immediately start buying back up. This is what you were talking about, right? Being bullish just because how expansive that 4 hour was, right? This was just a small retrace before we start heading higher. If not, and we start to continue to close below, right? Like something like this, and we get a retrace, I'll probably look to short into this level, right? Into the 15 minute that we were talking about earlier, right? So let's kind of just see what happens. Okay, so we did end up taking that level, right? And we're starting to fill in this 5 minute fair value gap. So if we close below this 5 minute fair value gap, I would expect the nearest drawn liquidity to be this, right? So I could probably try to sneak away with a short riding into this level, and then after that, I don't know what's gonna happen, right? After this, we could just end up dumping for a little bit longer, or this is gonna be the point where we start reversing, right? So I just have to watch. So let me see. Okay, so we're starting to buy back up a little bit, but it's not too convincing for me yet. What I will say is usually my strategy involves a 5 minute retrace. A 5 minute retrace with a 1 minute strong candle close, something like this, right? I'd probably put my stop and do something like this. But the reason I'm a little bit scared if I were to take this trade, right? You see, because you see how we retrace into the 5 minute, and then me personally, I like to see a strong 1 minute candle close. Yeah, it's 50-50, exactly, because there's two drawn liquidities. Oh, you got it. You're already picking it up, right? You're already picking it up. We got two different drawn liquidities because we still could be bullish, right? Exactly, yeah. Or we could just sell off into the... So, you know, you got to do what makes sense, right? And in this instance, even though it kind of looks A+ from a mechanical standpoint, I love my 5 minute retraces with a 1 minute candle close, right? But I don't know if it'll be realistic. Although in this instance, I think it would have worked out. Maybe a sell side liquidity run or a pullback into discount. Yeah. And this, like I said, you're not always gonna get what you want, right? So you kind of have to be flexible, and you just gotta put on trades, right? Yeah, you gotta take the risk though. Exactly. Yep. So okay, this is still good, right? This is still good, and the reason this is still good is we didn't take our target yet, right? So because we didn't take our target yet, I'm praying. This is what I'm praying. We get a retrace, because you know how I missed my entry right here, right? I'm praying we get a retrace right here, so I could ride the trade into the obvious drawn liquidity, because the obvious drawn liquidity is looking like that right now, right? So now let me see if I get a retrace. You see? So sometimes you'll just miss your entry, but what I will say is you could have taken this trade right here. So we do have a fair value gap, and guess what? We do get a strong candle close right here, right? So there's our strong candle close. You could put your stop loss below the swing low, right? So we had a swing low right here, right? So you put stop loss right here or below the fair value gap, right? And just target the internal high, right? Scale half but stops break even, or you know, our original 4 hour target, right? Look at 4 hour fair value gap fill. Boom. right? And then after that, I don't really care if it continues to push. We have another target, right? So let's see. I just kind of want to see if we have a reaction after taking that high, right? Let me just see. You see, bro, to the tick basically, right? Not to the tick, but like after a couple points, right? We have some sort of reaction after a 4-hour fair value gap tap, right? Fill, sorry. So let me get rid of all these lines, right? We fill in the 4-hour fair value gap, and look, we start to sell off, right? Slightly. I don't know, but I wouldn't be against shorts if we close below, probably right here though. I honestly wouldn't be afraid to short. So if we were to close below here, I'd probably target this internal low, right? And then try to hold runners till here, right? So I'd probably put stop break even right here. So let's see. But we could still be bullish, right? Remember, because how we had that other what do you call it, liquidity up here. If we were to break it down even more on the 15-minute, there is a swing high right here, right? So we could still target that, right? So you kind of want to just flip through the different time frames to see which one it gets has liquidity or not. Okay, so we're starting to sell off, right? It's not an aggressive sell-off, which what I would have liked to see, but let's kind of just see. If so we close below this, it'll look pretty nice for this right here. So when I take a candle close, right, it has to be strong. You see how they're kind of weak right here, and there's a lot of wicking. Maybe I'm a bit early, yeah. Oh, I missed my entry, I think. Okay, so this right here would have been really nice, right? Right here. You see how we're holding the bearish fair value gap, but then we instantly also reverse this, right? So now this becomes an inversion. If you were to, this would have been a sniper entry right here. And then you'd put stops break even right here after you sweep these lows, right? So stops break even, right? Put 50, scale 50%, whatever you need to do, and then you just continue to dump. I think unfortunately we will get stopped out, but if stop loss is not in your game plan, then you're good to go basically. So now after we swept this, right, I'm like, okay, after this gets swept, I would be like, okay, how do we react after taking this liquidity, right? But if we were to continue selling short, right, we have a target, right? We have a target in mind. Maybe the bag below. So you already called it, bro. So you're starting to get it. Yeah. So this is literally all my trading system is. Okay, you see? Okay, right here. This is a good example. Right here. You see how after we swept this liquidity, we didn't even like we initially had like a small reaction. We started inversing this, right? But then there's no follow through, right? There's no follow through, and we instantly start selling back down, right? And we open up another fair value gap. So now I want to see a retrace into this. I'm praying that we don't take the drawn liquidity, right? And I get an entry, right? And then I would try to target this, right? So we still have more targets right here like this, right? So let's just see. Give me a target or give me an entry. Okay, so we're retracing pretty deep. Like I said, I want to see a close out of the fair value gap for me to enter, right? Okay, so at this point, now I'm starting to not like the shorts. And the reason for that is, for one, this could have just been another resweep of the liquidity, right? Another resweeps, because sometimes it might not take off right away after you sweep liquidity. I did like the original short idea, but like I said, we didn't hold the fair value up, so now it's telling me we're probably gonna be longing. So let me give this trade a shot and do something like this, because we closed above very aggressively, right? And it doesn't look like we want to target this. So let me just see if it see if this happens. Put stops break even maybe like right here. So this would probably be my break even. Hopefully this is a win so I can show you what I'm talking about. Or not. Okay, no, or okay, maybe our original idea would have worked out, but this was the idea though, I guess. But yeah, when you get a candle close like this, I really like this candle close, but it instantly sold back down, so that kind of sucked. But if we were trading this, I'm not gonna lie, this would have been a really tough spot. The reason for that is, look at this. We have we were so close to taking liquidity, right? But we didn't end up taking liquidity, and we were so close to taking this liquidity, but we didn't end up taking that. So it was just kind of a choppy session, right? Where you're in between two ranges, right? But once you break out of it, right? So now once you break out of it and you, so now let's see if we continue selling short. No market structure shift, yeah. So now I want to see why we started reacting off of so obviously that was like probably a 1 hour fair value gap tap, right? So it was a 1 hour fair value gap tap. We still have the liquidity up here, right? And we reswept this low. I got 3 losses back to back now, bro. I gotta get some wins under my belt. Are you gonna look at the higher time frame? That's for the most part, no. Just because that's kind of what I did in the morning already, right? But I will just kind of scan through it just to see, right? But we are reacting off the 1 hour fair value gap, sure, right? So I will keep that in mind. We're starting to inverse the 15-minute, right? We closed above, so this is looking really good for longs now, finally, right? Yeah, longs, yeah. So you agree? So we inverse this right on the 5-minute. So now let me see if I can get an entry somewhere, right? And where would the nearest drawn liquidity would be for me, right? Probably something like this, right? Look for longs. Yep, I'm looking for longs. Perfect. Okay, we're selling or sell off. I still like longs though, I'm not gonna lie, so I'm not scared of that. So we did inverse this, but there's really no liquidity sweep. I mean, maybe this, but do I just give this one a try? I'll just give it a try. It's not looking... This kind of sucks because there's no follow through. Also, it's a little bit late in the session, right? It's 1 p.m. So I think... let's just play it out. Let's see kind of what happens. Okay, so it did end up working out. I should have taken the trade, but it doesn't matter. It's a little bit late into the session, but yeah. Hey, it would have worked out, right? That was what we wanted to see all day, but it didn't end up happening, which kind of sucked, so... Hey, it's whatever. Okay, so like I said, let's try it again, right? We do it again. So now, go to the 4 hour, fresh day, right? Fresh day. What am I doing? Draw the nearest liquidity, right? So I see this, right? We're starting to sell off, so I'm probably expecting shorts, right? Maybe. I don't really care for this fair value gap that we're holding right here, the small fair value gap. I don't really care for now. And then we're starting to retrace back into an hourly fair value gap, right? So something like this could happen, right? So if I were to take a trade, right? First drawn liquidity would be this. If we sell past this and continue selling past, second would be this, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So now I'll zoom in 15-minute, kind of just see what the market structure is, right, doing. And this looks nice for shorts, right? Because we swept that liquidity up here, right? We're holding that fair value gap, right? And then you see how we instantly sold off after that, right? We swept these lows, right? We swept these lows, right? But then we continued selling past, right? So I'm thinking, okay, shorts are not bad. But obviously you just have to find an entry, right? Yes, it is. I think you're picking it up pretty quick. Yeah, so my drawn liquidity would be bearish. Yep. Because my drawn liquidity would be bearish because I simply just drew out the nearest drawn liquidity, right? And where are we like currently pushing towards, right? And it looks like we're currently pushing towards this way. So I'm expecting for this to get hit, right? That's literally all it is. Yeah. Low-key is good now? You think? Yeah, so if I were to take a trade and it's short, right? I would target this first and then try to hold for that. But I'm not comfortable with this, not gonna lie. I want to see a little bit more direction in my favor. Okay, so we're starting to open up a fair value gap right here, so I want to see how we react here. Take sells and liquidity sweep. Buy side liquidity. Oh, we didn't sweep that buy side though on the 5-minute. We did have a 5-minute fair value. I mean, Actually, I guess we did sweep it kind of like this, something, but there wasn't an immediate reaction, so. Hey, just like that. So you see how we're able to read price just simply by looking at the nearest like swing high, swing low, and which direction we're pushing towards, right? Obviously, there was no entry. Yeah, it was an iffy buy side liquidity sweep, but you not always get the cleanest, right? So it's fine. So now, right, at this point, let's say we're trading live during the markets. I'm like, shit, I missed my entry, right? It's all good, right? So now, couple things, right? We still have quite a bit of liquidity target over here, but I don't know if after sweeping this, we could just reverse, right? So I'll be a little bit careful. However, if we continue selling off and then at some point we get a reversal right here, I would try to ride it till the ultimate drawn liquidity that we had drawn out going into the morning, right? So let's kind of just see what happens. I need to put on some trades though. Okay. So we kind of held this fair value up. So this is good, right? For shorts, right? At least, right? So we're starting to displace lower. Okay, a bit of a retrace back up. Let me see if we okay, so we do have a 5 minute, right? At this point, I would be bullish if we close above. However, if we kind of start stalling, right, and reject off of this level, then I would be bearish. So those are my kind of two conditions right now. So we'll just have to see which one happens first, right? Although this looking a little juicy for shorts, right? We're kind of holding that 5 minute, but then we also have, we're about to maybe inverse this, right? Okay, so we started closing above. So I would be bullish now, right? However, I don't want to take the first tap off of like an inversion, right? Sure, I could miss the play, but I want to be a little bit more safe. So I'd wait for a retrace if we get it, and then target the liquidity up here, right? So now that's my game plan. So now this is my new game plan, right? I wanted to see shorts, but we're not getting shorts. So I have to kind of adapt, right? And work around that. Okay. Bit of a weird spot again. But we're starting to sell off. And I guess we broke past this fair value up and starting to sell lower. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe we are just bearish. And this was just a deeper retrace. Maybe this would have been, yeah, so this was a 15-minute retrace, right? I know, but we ran above the highs. We're close. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of a weird spot. But honestly, now it's looking good for shorts. Do I just give this a shot? This is probably a stupid play, but like stops break even maybe like right here. You think so? I think because it doesn't look bad, right? If you look at the 15-minute, we had like the retrace into the 15-minute, and our draw is still here, right? And overall, our bias is just it's pretty obvious to tell that we're bearish, right? So, all right, let's do that then. It's kind of just you and me back testing together, I guess. So, and then I'll probably go break even, like maybe right here. So let's kind of just see. Story of my life right here. Okay, so okay, that did end up playing, but I guess we just got faked out. So now I would just look at what went wrong, right? And you know, we resweep these lows, right? Resweep these lows. It kind of just sucks, right? It was kind of giving us false signals, but hey, I guess it was my mistake technically, right? I didn't wait for no, you're good. I thought the same thing, man. I thought the same thing, so you're good. The reason I think looking back now why this didn't play out is we didn't sweep anything, right? We didn't sweep any liquidity over here, right? We kind of just, we were pushing, right? And then we just sold off randomly, right? There wasn't any liquidity sweep up here with the inversion, right? All right, the nearest probably right here or right here. So it just didn't end up working out, and then we got faked out. Hey, it's all good. It happens. Go to the next day, and we tried again. I'm gonna try to get a couple wins under my belt, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm down 700 on the session. I think I started at 1700 today. But yeah, let's kind of just see now. So now, right? Let's see what we got. We're trading at all-time highs, I think. Okay, so now we're trading at all-time highs. And when I'm trading at all-time highs, I don't really like the short. And the reason for that is, think of it as basic market structure, right? And when you're at all-time highs, right, and you break past this point, right, when you break past your all-time high right here, right, you don't know how long this price leg is gonna be before we start selling off, right? I don't like shorting, if that makes sense. So let me just see if I can find a long entry. So these are one of those times where you can't really play off the higher time frame, right? Sure, if I were to take a short, maybe I could target like these. Oh wait, this is kind of juicy though. We got like 4 stacked lows, right? So it's not looking bad for shorts if we were to take a short, but let's kind of just see. I'm just playing like the scalps. My conditions for a short would probably be if we close below this 5-minute right here, or sorry, this 1-minute fair value gap, something like that. If not, we continue to push. I'll just take the longs. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna fire away at random trades just to see. Not the greatest. I'll put my stopped at the CE of the fair value. Yeah, let's just see. In and out long trades. In and out long trades. Yep. Usually, so I've traded live. Not traded live. Sorry. I've traded during that sucks. I've traded during all-time highs twice now. I remember when I first started. We were, I think, back in the start of 2024, we were all-time highs for a little bit, and then traded that, and then I think recently we just were at all-time highs. Also, this kind of sucks, but yeah, okay, so now I'm looking for longs if we could get it. Or the short. Okay, so this would have worked right here, but unfortunate. So now I'm waiting for structure to build to the upside, and then I'll take a long. Let's see. So, okay, so now we have a fair value up, right? I want to see us kind of close above right here. I also like this. It's a little bit choppy, sure. But we did end up sweeping this. We're unks now. Yeah, when you talk to someone, you're like, yeah, I've traded at all-time highs. That's like that's a good sign, I guess. That's like a badge of honor, you know? Okay, so I'll do something like this. I like the close out of a fair value gap, right? This is what I'm always looking for during a live trade. But of course it never works out in a backtesting. I'm telling you, bro, I am the worst backtester of all time. For some reason, when I trade live, I'm just the GOAT. I just don't lose. But when I backtest, oh my god, it just never goes right. Oh yeah, we're in the pits. Yeah, dude, I remember watching like what do you call it? The New York Stock Exchange and shit, and like those guys are animals in there, bro. They're like rabid animals. It's crazy. Bro, I wish it just like it would work out so I could show you what I'm trying to talk about, but it's just not working out, unfortunately. Okay, so this next trade right here, finally. So it closed out of the fair value, pretty strong trade. Same thing, target all-time highs. I'm just gonna fire away. Of course it doesn't work. All right, give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. 1 second. All right. Bro, I'm sorry, bro. Holy crap, we are just losing. Okay, we gotta try again. I'm down 1300 on this session. We gotta get some wins. Let me lock in. So now let me see if I don't talk and just do it. We'll see if that wins. So I'm saying, okay, so 4 hour. I can't really, like, I don't really mark out the hard time frames like this, right? I'll just understand that we're entering a bullish fair value gap, right? I'll understand that. There's no really liquidity to play off of here. Oh yeah, it's not over until we're up. Last night I clutched up and went up like 1700 one session. So let's see. This isn't a really good spot, but like, I mean, I guess we swept liquidity right here on the 15 minute. Oh, you cooked your, wait, are you a Forex trader? You're a Forex trader? Oh, you need to show me? Okay. Yeah, you gotta show me later. Alright, let's kind of see what we're looking at. Nothing really too clear. Oh, okay. Is your USD your pairs or what? I think I used, because I started off Forex as well. I tried trading USD JPY, USD Euro or something. Just the main pairs or whatever, but I got absolutely clapped in Forex. Yeah, bro. Nah, dude, I'm telling you, I got absolutely whooped in Forex, bro. I like scarred level. Like, I never want to go back to Forex. I don't know how you're able to do it. Mad respect to you. Bro, I am just DJ. Probably have shit. So do you trade prop firms on Forex? Do you trade prop firms? I know everyone who I've talked to so far who's traded Forex just switched to futures, bro. Everyone got scarred from Forex and they just went straight to futures, bro. Oh, by the end of the year? Okay. So are you paper trading? If you close above here, I'll take a long. Oh, you an economics geek? Okay. Dude, every trade I've taken so far is an insta loss, bro. It's not even funny. Okay. Okay. So how did you discover Forex though? Or was it your buddy that? Oh, wait, was it? I can't remember if it was you or Chris who found out about Forex about when they were talking with, who was it again? Wait, yeah, how'd you find about Forex again? Once you answer it, I'll remember. Oh my god, this session is so choppy. Oh, trading gurus? Bro, this session is ass. Alright, who are the gurus that you watched? Let me hear it. Let me hear. I remember watching Paladin though. Paladin's kind of one of the reasons I got into ICT. I remember he was like, I'm an ICT teacher. I'm like, yo, what the hell is ICT, bro? Oh, really? Okay. Monk trades? Are you like adding me or something? Okay. Bro, like I'm telling you, I'm cursed when it comes to backtesting. Look at this shit. My target got hit, basically almost, but then I get stopped out by a tick. Oh my god, this is terrible. Oh, you know what? I have an idea. Let me start from scratch. Let's start a new session going. Let's get a new session going. This is what I did yesterday and I just started winning. Yeah, so let's do this. We're gonna call this 3. We're gonna call this NQ. I'm not a guru, bro. Don't ever call me a fucking guru. I'm joking. I would never sell a course. I'm gonna sell you my affiliate link though. Hey, click on all my links. Let me make sure I get that affiliate money, this and that. But yeah, I remember because I got scammed on a course and I'm like, bro, this is just, people do this for a living? It just seems so messed up. Here, let's do like 23 or some shit. Let me do this. I don't know how I've never traded price action. That has been way back, so I don't know if this will be a good or bad thing. Work. Go. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna lock in. So how long have you been trading for though? Were you one that said 1.5 years or something, right? I think you were trading longer than me or something. I saw your name pop up earlier today. I'm like, oh my god, it's Lazar. Oh boy. Oh man. Hey, I feel that. Oh yeah, I think I can tell you're a little retail logic for ages, man. Yeah, I remember trading, like I literally remember trading like candlestick patterns, bro. That was unbelievable. I saw like a doji candlestick. I'm like, I'm in long. Oh my god, that was so funny. Good memories, I guess. Okay, so I haven't backtested my strategy from like a couple years ago, so I don't know how it'll play out, but it should still work. Should still work. Let's see if we inverse this. I got you, bro. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get a dub. I'm gonna do some cheesy like this. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, as soon as I discovered ICT, it helped my trading. So that's I was talking to other people about this. This is why I was saying how I'm so lucky, because I discovered trading futures. So I started off forex, obviously, right? And then I discovered futures early on, right? And then I traded supply and demand for a little bit. Or sorry, I started off support and resistance, trade that for a little bit, and then immediately switched to supply and demand. And then when you're trading supply and demand, right, it's a lot of terminology that's similar to ICT, right? So I was like, yo, what the hell is an order block, right? Because in supply and demand, right, a lot of people talk about order blocks and stuff. I'm like, yo, what the hell is an order block? And then once you find an order block, they're like, yo, it's like a fair value gap fill and this. I'm like, yo, what the hell is a fair value gap? I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh my god, ICT is the truth. I need to learn this. So I went down the rabbit hole learning that, and yeah, now we're here. Oh yeah, you know ICT now. Oh, so you're 19? Bro, it's kind of crazy to see how all these young people nowadays, they're just trying to make it in life, you know? Like everyone's locked in, like even at an early age, bro. Like you got plenty of time, bro. I'm 21, so I discovered trading when I was 20, I think. Yeah, when I was 20. So beginning of last year, almost. Literally just the beginning of last year, like around. Actually, no, sorry, the end of 2023. So what was that? December? Actually, no, November 2023. So it's been like a year and like a month almost, a couple months. Sorry. Oh, there we go. We got a win under my belt. I finally needed that. I need to end the dry streak. Okay, start off 4 hour again, like I always do, right? Mark our targets. We got this right here. Maybe we have this 1 hour. Kind of just trading in a range, which kind of sucks, but. Are you saying congrats on the win or congrats on being like 21? Or trading this long? I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. Congrats on. Oh no, I know you can, bro. Hey, let me try to like fast track your progress too. Like I'll find all the secret sauce. So another thing I will usually use is SMTs. I found SMTs really useful. For trading this long, yeah. A lot of people give up for sure, but I'm like, I'm trying to do this for a living, you know? Oh yeah, 100%. I appreciate it. Also, you gotta answer my question, bro. Is your name, how do you pronounce it? Lazar? Laser, which one? Lazar for 1, laser for 2. Type which one? I need to know. This is like the 7 wonders of the world. I need to know this mystery. Bro, what is this session? My guy! I don't know what that means! What is one? One, okay, 1. Lazar. Okay. Man, you didn't correct me earlier when I said laser. I was like, oh, maybe it's laser. It's Lazar? Okay. No, laser? Oh, laser. Okay, laser. Okay, maybe you didn't correct me for a reason. You didn't correct me for a reason, cause oh, my bad. Is that just like a random username, or that's your name? If that's your name, that's a pretty cool name, Laser. So are you a big skiing guy? If you learned what, trading from that random skier you met, or what? Oh my, yeah, I didn't know which one, how to pronounce it. My bad. Yeah, when I called you L. You know, have you ever watched the anime with the Death Note or something? The guy's name's L or something. I was like, you know, maybe this guy is like cool, like mysterious. I was trying. It's supposed to be a compliment, bro. My bad. It was my bad. You know my. Oh. So you're okay. I see. Oh, so you're from London. I was about to say, cause I don't know which one's your, I don't know when you were supposed to pop in, but screw anime. I'm gonna have to take that personally. Although I'm not like a diehard anime fan, so I don't really care. If you said that to some like diehard anime fan, I'm pretty sure you would have gotten your email and everything doxed. Sorry. Oh yeah, but do you have any questions that you were asking earlier? You talk about like market structure or whatever. I don't really pay attention to market structure, to be honest. Like there's like higher highs, higher lows, but like I literally just try to keep it so simple. I don't really care about order blocks and anything like that. After a certain age, it gets weird. I understand that. The reason, so I work out, right? But the reason I started working out is because I wanted to look ripped like one of like the anime characters, bro. Hey, some people use it for different motivations. I know there are some weird anime fans though, I'm not gonna lie. But I haven't watched any anime in a while, so it's been probably been a couple months. Like I said, I'm not too into it. I'll just occasionally watch like a funny ass show. Alright, sir. What do you watch then, huh? What do you watch? What are you into? Squid Game or something? I don't watch TV, or not TV, Netflix shows, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you either. I know who you're talking about, yeah, for sure. Oh my god, bro, you're like an old guy. What the fuck? You're locked in then. Holy shit, you got Bloomberg and shit, bro. You probably listen to all these podcasts and shit. Yeah, nah. Now you're one of those guys that like, I gotta lock in. I gotta become successful by the time I'm 20, or I'm gonna kill myself. I gotta become, if I'm not a millionaire before I'm 21, what the hell is the point of living? You're one of those guys, huh? I respect it though. I have a lot of respect though for those type of guys. Cause I am that type of guy myself, but I know people, so I try not to tell people around myself, you know, about my trading or anything, right? I don't tell anyone. I don't even tell my parents, stuff like that, right? But then it kind of sucks at times because you can't talk to anyone about it, right? And I remember like kind of vaguely talking about, no, sorry, I didn't talk to my cousin about it, but so I was talking with my cousin. However, I didn't tell him I was trading, but like we were talking about some guy that we knew, right? Who kind of, oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I gotta respect it. Yeah, so I was talking with my my cousin, and we are talking about some mutual friend of ours or whatever, right? And he's one of those guys that, like, you know, he's just trying to make it, and secretly I'm like, yo, I respect that, you know, like I can respect anyone who's trying their absolute hardest to, you know, make it in life and do what they want. And yeah, exactly, you can't speak with it. That's the thing that kind of sucks about trading, is like you might not, you know, you might not have someone to talk to about it. Oh, they always ask you, dude, and it puts so much pressure on you, right? So yeah, that sucks, man. Exactly. So that's why I never try to tell anyone about how much, not how much I make, about me trading, because then they're gonna ask you, yo, like, did you make money today? And then like this and that, and like, oh, I know trading is gambling, this and that. I'm like, you don't know what I've been through, man. And like they say it so lightly, but they don't understand, like you are consciously, like, you understand like the risk that comes with trading, right? We're not like oblivious to it. Yeah. Hey, yeah, you're cool too, my guy. Yeah, people think we're like complete idiots that go into trading without knowing the risks. Like, I understand the risks. That's why, like, if you are able to make it, it pays way more than whatever a normal 9 to 5 could ever pay, right? Like, that it could ever pay, right? Yeah. See, yeah, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, I fuck with you so much though. This is just a sell-off, bro. This kind of sucks. I don't get no entry, re-entry. Okay. Do I take this? Oh yeah. I've worked a couple 9 to 5 jobs, and then I'm just door dashing right now at the moment, but hopefully I would like to be able to ultimately transition and do this full time. That would be awesome, but gotta put in the work, I guess. Might not work out. I'm in school, yes, still. Okay, here is the one time I will try an order block. I am in computer science. Major. Oh, my entry should have been up here, maybe. Okay, that's fine. We close below. I'm taking this short. Okay, there we go. Put my stop above here, probably. Just target these lows. Bro, I can't backtest for shit. Oh my god, this sucks. This sucks. What is that? I'm not too sure what that is actually. I gotta focus though. Let me try to start winning some backtests and then let me explain my backtesting. You're an audit? What is that exactly? Look that up. All right, right here, laser. Here would be an example of like on the 4 hour. I don't know where we're going, like, cause it's too like there's no really structure. I don't know how it's happening. So at this point, but you're finished. I was gonna see if. Oh, okay. No, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing here for us though, so it's kind of you gotta go to the lower time frame. Oh, okay, yeah. I see. I understand what you're saying now. So this would be a terrible trading point, like where we're just bouncing back and forth. There's no clear direction, right? Because you get a lot of displacement one side and then you instantly sell off, right? And you get a lot of displacement and then you instantly sell off. This is a terrible time to trade, but I'm still trying to navigate through it. It's looking like we're bullish though, just because we're obviously pushing, right? And I want to see some sort of retrace. Minimum, I want to see some sort of liquidity get swept, so something like this maybe, and then go from there. Okay, so there's our liquidity sweep. Let me see if I want to see get this taken. Yeah, it's too choppy, exactly. So we did, okay, so we did sweep that. Starting to retrace into an hourly fair value gap. Then we swept this 15-minute almost. I know we did. Yeah, it's so choppy on the higher time frame. So at that point, like you can't really base your trades off the higher time frame anymore. You just have to play the lower time frame. So like go to the 15-minute, 5-minute, and then the 1 minute, right? And then just see how we react off of certain lows. You see, so you see how after sweeping this 5-minute right here, we're starting to displace higher, right? Ideally, I want to see us close above and continue pushing. Okay, like that. The risk to reward here wouldn't. Yeah, I just chose a free copyright, like a random copyright free music, something like this. I would like to see something like this. The risk reward isn't good, right? I could wait for a better risk reward by waiting for a retrace to get in here. So, which one do you think I should do? Should I take this trade or wait for the retrace down and then take the entry? Because this still fits my model, to be honest. And let me try another thing. Waiting for a market structure. I don't wait for market structure shifts. But I guess this would be your market structure. I guess we would wait then. So let's wait. Okay, so there's our market structure shift, right? And then, do you want to wait for a pullback or? Okay, wait for the market structure shift. Okay, and then do you want to wait for the pullback or enter right here? Because, hey, it worked out. You got the right play. At least it's more confirmed that we're probably bullish now. And then we would obviously target this. And then after that, try to target that swing high up here. Now? Enter now? Okay. And then where should I put my stop loss? Where's the stop loss? Let me see drawdown. Okay, that's fine. Have a wider stop or what? Like this? Okay. Is it this Bissy or this one right here? Which one you want? The highest one up here or this one? This one, I'm assuming, right? This one? Okay. Alright, let's do it. Oh. I'm telling you. Hey, we're both getting cooked on the backtesting session. Oh, the lowest one. Okay. I think it still would have stopped us out probably. Unfortunately. So let's kind of just see. This is a very choppy session though, to be fair. I think the bias is still correct. I think we... Long now? Got it, got it. Sir, yes, sir. I'll just put my stop loss right there. Screw it. Hey, you gotta explain yourself. Explain yourself. I don't know if it's looking like longs anymore. Okay, so at this point, right? At this point, I would mark out more liquidity, right? Sure. We swept that, and then this. If we continue selling off, target this, right? Looking very bearish though at the moment. I missed my entry. I think this candle should have been my entry. Whatever. Alright, let's see if we get a retrace over here. I got us. I got us. I'll clutch up this one trade. So miniature liquidity sweep up here, right? And then there's a small ass inversion right here. This doesn't look too good, but we'll do like the miniature scalp, something like this. Targeting, we're gonna be targeting this, like, I'm assuming this is a candle wick or some sort of manipulation, but really good areas of liquidity. I should have gone break even. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Okay, so resweep this. I still like the shorts. We got really close. If we close below here, I'll go again. Okay, so we retrace into a 5-minute. Retrace into a 5-minute, and then starting to displace. I might just chase this trade, honestly. So I'll do something like this. Tight risk. Still same target. Is that an hourly low? I think it is as well, yeah. It's an hourly low, but it's a lot cleaner on the 15-minute, so... There's really no proper entry right here, but the reason I'm taking the short is we retrace into the 5-minute. Yeah, there is a 5-minute order block up here too, yeah. Doesn't work out. So I think if I did trade this, yeah, if I had my stop loss above the order block, sure, it would have worked. But hey, the idea was there. Just sometimes execution is not there, but I need to start going on a win streak because this is terrible, bro. Oh my god, I'm down 1,000, bro. Hey, I was just talking to you. It's fun. It's fun talking to you, bro. Looking pretty bearish. On the 4-hour, not really a lot to play off of. Maybe this swing high, right? Because it looks like we're pushing up right now. We didn't really sweep anything on the left, right? But we are in a bullish for a gap. So I'll just kind of draw this out to see. 15 minutes starting to push, right? So honestly, like there's not a lot. Yeah. There's not a lot to go off of here, right? So that's why you would just let market play out and see what happens. And see which direction we are pushing towards. Because sometimes you don't have a bias, right? You just don't know. Okay, so right here, sold off pretty aggressively. Oh yeah, I got you. So this is going to be the 4 hour, right? So we have a really giant 4 hour fair value gap, the bullish one, right? So the only thing I really drew out is, I don't know if we're gonna sell off down all the way till here, but if we were, it doesn't look bad for shorts now actually. You see how aggressive we're starting to sell off? It just kind of sucks because I keep missing my entries on these backtesting sessions. Like this one candle kind of ruined my plans. We're in the BISI. Will you split it in quadrants? No, I will not. So yeah, when I see like a giant ass fair value gap on the higher time frame, I don't mark it out. Like I will keep it in the back of my mind that we're gonna be, we're in a bullish fair value gap, right? And I don't really, sometimes oh wait, we're tapping CE, right? Consequent encroachment, but I don't really care for that. To be honest, like I said, I keep my trading so simple. I'm just trading the now, if that makes sense, right? So we start to inverse this, right? And we're holding, I believe, the 15-minute, right? Still, and just starting to displace lower. So we're probably just gonna take this nearest liquidity first before we do anything. So okay, so we do end up taking that, right? So now, from now, I don't know what's gonna happen, right? If we displace pat through here, that'll be nice for longs, but okay, so we starting to displace there. Get a retrace into the fair value gap as well. We see a strong candle close. Get that. And I'll just try to scalp it. Oh, man, usually, all right, I'll just have a negative RR on this. Screw it. Man, I'm just getting cooked, bro. But that was the trade idea, I guess. How many points was this? 15 points. Usually I only aim for like 10 points on futures. 10, 15 points, but yep. And sometimes we'll just retrace down, stop a whole bunch of people out like me, right? And then continue with the liquidity, right? But I'm not too, to be fair, I'm not too familiar trading this price action from this long ago. Like, I'm not used to this. Let's see. But that's not really an excuse, I guess. So we still got the same 4 hour swing high, right? So I'm probably expecting to be bullish here. I will say this backtesting session has not been good. However, I'm telling you, if you do want to know just like the simplest way, check out the YouTube video, right? Check out the with the strategy video. I think it's a lot clearer on this one right here. So actually, let me explain it to you. So right here, right, let's see. So my strategy is broken into pretty much 3 different things, right? Obviously, higher time frame, I'm gonna be looking for bias. Bias is literally just like what is happening on the higher time frame, right? And right now it's kind of hard to tell, right? But once I'm able to identify that, right? Like my bias for this instance, right? In this case, right? If market structure looks like this, right? And we have like, we open up a bullish fair value up and we're starting to retrace into it. What you would normally expect is, you know, what happens when you enter a fair value up, right? You expect us to bounce off it and continue in the intended direction, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So all right, if I see this, if I open up the charts and I see this, all right, I'm probably gonna be bullish, just because, you know, we opened up that bullish fair value gap and you know, we're starting to push upwards, right? So now I'm gonna zoom in, right? And so this is what the market structure looks like on the 4 hour or the 1 hour, right? And if I were to zoom in to maybe the 15-minute or the 5-minute, this is literally what this would look like, right? The retrace, this little price leg right here is basically what I'm showing right here, right? And the drawn liquidity is completely different from bias. I want you to understand that. I'm telling you, watch this video and it will make so much more sense from what, like, how I'm trading. Like I said, I'm sorry I couldn't, like, the backtesting session hasn't been good, right? It's kind of hard to show you a real example. I think I do go over, yeah, real examples in here, right? But it will be a lot more clear if you just watch this video. But yeah, let me just continue with my backtesting session. I know it's a little bit late in London right now, right? How late is it over in London right now? You want the guts to backtest live? Hey, it's kind of hard, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you, I suck at backtest. Let's see what the markets are currently doing. 30-point rip. Hey, should I take a trade live on my funded accounts? We'll see how to trade live, I guess. Oh, it's midnight? Okay. Damn. I can pull up my fund accounts, try to trade during Asia. Hey, look at your... Holy shit. Bro, I haven't looked at any Forex shit in so long, bro. It's so choppy, bro. What is this? Oh my god, bro. Ew. You trade this? Oh my god. You trade this, brother? I'm telling you. The sooner you switch to Forex, I mean, sorry, futures, the sooner 7 a.m. and 11, okay. Got the 7 a.m. to New York time, okay. Okay, so let's see. Okay, well, I will say I was on the wrong side. I was trying to catch the 955 macro. Okay. 955. Okay. So you took it right. Are you trying to short or long here? Let's see. Oh, unlucky. Okay. Yeah, so a couple things that I will say as well is yeah, make sure you have like these sessions. Busy was a pull. You thought it was a pullback? Oh yeah, so you were short? Okay. Oh, let me check it out for you actually. So let me see if I would have made the same mistake. Honestly, this was a tough spot. I'm not gonna lie. No, I think you were not wrong. I'm not gonna lie. It's just unlucky. I would have honestly tried to target the same thing as you. I'm sure you're trying to ride your short into this low right here, and it just didn't end up working out. And then it just started immediately reversing, right? But yeah, it's looking obviously really short. It bounced off the CE of the wick of the hourly chart. Yeah. Is it this one? Yeah, it's so unlucky. So, okay, let me see. So if you were trading this, okay, and then it starts, so right here, right? When we start, no, the open to the low. Oh, the open to the low? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see, okay. Are you talking about the hourly candle? Is it this one? Oh. Hmm. I see, okay. Oh, this massive one? Oh? Okay, what time is it at? What time is it at? This one? What time is it at? The 11 a.m. one right here? You want me to draw out the body or the wick? Or the entire thing? Open to the low, okay. And then I'm gonna zoom in, I'm assuming. All right, let's see. Oh, the wick. I thought you were talking about the candle. Okay, just the wick. I got you. Close to the low. Oh, close to the low. Okay. Like this, right? Not the top wick. I have no. I'm not. I got no idea. That's it. Okay. Okay. So now I go on the 1 minute, right? What am I looking at? So you took a short, like right here? Yeah, I didn't get the top wick, yeah. Just I got the body. Were you trying to take a short like right here? Something like that? I see. Okay, let me see what I could help you with here. Okay, I got it. I got you. So at this point, right? So let me just go back on the replay mode, right? At this point in time, right? My bias would 100% be this this wick right here, right? So you're not wrong, right? Like I think you had the right idea. Yeah, okay, I got you. Okay, let me see if I could help you right here. So at this point, right, we're starting to sell off into this low, and I like that low, right? I like that low. So we'll let. I'm pretty sure you took a little bit your trade at like around 9:30, so we'll let the trade develop, right, and kind of just see what happens. So like you see how we're starting to push towards this level. That's really good for us, right? So I want to see how we react at this like kind of fair value up. I want to see how we react on the fair value ups along the way, right? And this is really nice, right? So I probably, if I could have taken this trade, probably taken this like entry right here, right? And then done something like this, and then try to ride it into that low, right? Try to ride it into that low, and then go stops break even somewhere, right? But obviously that didn't happen, right? So at this point, I would be a little skeptical, just because, yo, like, why are we randomly getting like really aggressive candles, right? For one thing that you could always ask yourself is, yo, what's being respected, what's being disrespected, right? Yeah, it looks good so far, right? What's being respected, what's being disrespected. But this candle really did look really nice, but then all of a sudden we start disrespecting all the bullish PD arrays, right? Or sorry, the bearish PD arrays, right? We start blowing past through it with like really aggressive bullish candles, right? So I'm like, yo, wait, what the hell's happening? So I'd be a little bit cautious of shorts, right? I would be a little bit cautious of shorts, but I still like the idea of shorts. Because why? Because we still got the main liquidity target, right? We still got that main liquidity target. So now I'm like, okay, so maybe we want to retrace up into this high and then start selling off, right? So that's what I'm kind of thinking to myself, right? And then let's see if we get it, right? But you see how like the order flow is kind of different, right? In a way. Yeah, your daily bias. So I'm saying our daily bias isn't bad, but I think you should prioritize drawn liquidity more, just because drawn liquidity is what's currently happening, right? The bias could look here. So let me draw this out for you, right? All right, here, sorry. Let me do this, right? Okay, so pretend this is the higher time frame, right? So this is gonna be the video that I was talking about with you earlier, right? Pretend this is what the daily chart or the hourly 4-hour chart looks like, right? And then when we open up the chart, it kind of looks like this, right? This little price leg right here, right? Overall, my bias I would expect to be bullish, right? Like, can you explain that? Low-key is a... I got you. Yeah, drawn liquidity over bias. What I will say is your best trades are when drawn liquidity, right, and your bias is both aligning, right? That's when they're both aligning. When you have something like your bias is bearish, but the current drawn liquidity is bullish, you're not gonna win the trade because, yeah, sure, you have a bearish bias, brother, but the current drawn liquidity is currently telling you, yo, we're gonna aim for this high. Yo, we're gonna aim like for higher right now, right? The bias could take an entire day to play out, right? That's why it's called a daily bias, right? That's what you'd like to see over time happen. But drawn liquidity is always changing, right? Current order flow is always changing, right? And you could easily tell it by right here, right? Keep asking yourself, yo, what's being respected and what's being disrespected, right? And like I said, you see how like we kind of just blow through these bearish fair value gaps, right? If we're bearish, right? If our drawn liquidity is this low right here, right? And our bias is bearish, what you would expect to see, right? What you would expect to see, right? Is we retrace into here and immediately start selling off, right? Right? But then you have to be, that's why I say wait for closes, right? Because look what happens. You blow right through it. You blow right through it, right? We're not respecting any bearish PD arrays, right? We're not respecting any bearish fair value apps. So I would be very cautious of shorts, right? But like what I was saying, right? Let's say this is your bias on the higher time frame, right? You're bullish, right? You're bullish. Why are you bullish, right? Well, like we're kind of making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? And let's say when we open up the market and you know, we're starting to retrace into a bullish fair value gap, right? So let's say this is a bullish fair value gap right here, right? So let's say this is a bullish. Can't you expect them? Yeah, no, no. For me, okay. Yeah, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. Well, for me, the thing that changed with my ICT trading is I have to wait for a close. I have to wait for a close. And for the reason for that is, you know about the power of 3 and power, manipulation, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, right? I was predicting the candle to respect the 15-minute SIBI. Okay, no, that's understandable. That's understandable, but I just want you to understand that the market is literally always changing. Every single second, the order flow could change. Yo, what up, Chris? Hey, he's back. Oh, we got Chris and Laser in here now. Order flow is always changing, right? So if you think about like a normal candlestick pattern, right? So let's say this is your normal candlestick pattern, right? And at one point, right, we opened up right here, right? So we opened up the candle right here. So let me do this one instead. So we opened up right here, right? Oh, that's not good. Let me see. So we opened up right here, right? And then at one point we pushed down, right? And then we flip up. And then we finally retrace at the last second, right? This is your open, low, high, close, right? You know basic candle structure, right? You know basic candle structure, right? Use the line tool. Like this. I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm just trying to like give you the gist, right? Yeah, so yeah, power 3 basically, right? Power 3 is always happening, right? It's in every single candle and every single like sessions and stuff like that, right? The reason why I have to wait for a candle close, so say this is like a fair value gap, right? So say we're doing something like, yeah, I got you. So say this is a fair value gap, right? And we're starting to retrace in here, right? We're starting to retrace it in here, and the candle is currently printing this. The candle is currently printing this, right? Right? We're retracing into it, right? And it's a bearish fair value gap, so you expect it to go short, right? You expect it to go push downwards, right? So let's say the candle opens in here, right? So let's say we open up in here. Shit. This is so hard. Okay, so the candle opens up, right? The candle opens up. It pushes up. Or sorry, it immediately starts dumping, right? So that's good. This is a great sign for us, right? Let's say it's immediately starts dumping, right? That's what we want. But then 5 seconds before the candle close, right? Something like this happens, right? And then we just make a giant ass wake. This is not giving me confidence for shorts at all, right? Right, this is why I have to wait for a candle close. I want to see complete follow through the entire lifespan of that one candle, right? Because it will tell me, yo, okay, we're very aggressive. We're selling off. We're selling off, and then I expect the next couple candles to do the same, right? But if at the last 5 seconds this candle just completely pushes up and there's a lot of buying pressure, all of a sudden I'm not confident in taking that fair value gap anymore, because then guess what, it could reverse on us and then it starts closing above and then starts closing above and then starts closing above, right? You don't want to get caught in that, right? So that's why I keep trying to say, like, yo, wait for a candle close out of a fair value gap, showing that it's gonna get respected, right? Showing you that it's gonna get respected, right? So what I was saying, the drawn liquidity is different from bias, right? That was the entire reason I'm trying to get to you, or explain this to you, right? Say this is like the 4-hour chart, right? And if I were to zoom in, okay, sorry. So let's say this is the 1-hour chart, all right? Our bias obviously would be bullish, right? Just because basic market structure, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Plus, we're retracing into a bullish fair value gap, right? So what happens when you when you retrace into a bullish fair value gap? You expect to push out of it, right? That's a normal reaction when you're trading ICT, right? So that's good, right? So now let's zoom in and see if we find an entry, right? Or let's see what's currently happening on the lower time frame, right? And basically, if I were to redraw it out, right? If I were to redraw it out, right? No, sorry. Let's do something like this. Yeah, we expect it to hold, right? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, okay. This is currently what's happening, right? This little price leg right here is the same on here, right? Except instead of the 5 or 1 hour, right? This is the 5 minute or the 1 minute. So let's say this is the 1 minute, right? This is what the price action looks like over here, right? So this little sell-off is the same as this little sell-off right here, right? So let's just pretend that's currently what's happening, right? And let me do this as well, actually. Let me move this up, and then let me also move this up, right? Then let me do this. Okay, this is perfect. This is really good, right? So this is a side-by-side comparison of kind of bias. So this is your bias, right? This is what you want to see happen over the course of the entire day, right? Just because, like I said, basic market structure, right? This is your bias, right? Makes sense, right? Makes sense. Here, let me just move this. So this is bias, right? And then this is going to be drawn liquidity. I just want to show you this example, right? And then this is, like I said, this is the 1 minute, right? 1 minute. So these are completely different, is because, look, over time, I would like to see the bias play out to become bullish, right? But what's currently happening, right? Look at the order flow, right? Look at this order flow. We're not showing structure that we're gonna take off, right? That's not what's currently happening, right? That is not currently what's happening, right? What's currently happening is, yo, we're selling off. Let's pretend we're also opening up bearish fair value gaps in here, right? And we're holding this, right? That's why I kept asking you, yo, what's currently being respected? What's currently being disrespected, right? Because it'll give you a good idea. We're kind of disrespecting this, right? So it's telling me, okay, maybe we're not short, but like if you go in here, right? If we're holding bearish fair value gaps and we're starting to push towards the liquidity, right? Where's the nearest drawn liquidity? Where is the nearest drawn liquidity? Right here, right? So the drawn liquidity is bearish, but our bias is bullish, right? Yeah, basically. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be the 1 minute time frame alignment, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Oh, what up, Vince? That's what I'm saying. I'm the So, yeah, your best trades, Laser, are when both of these are fucking aligning, right? But you see how we're currently drawing towards this level, right? Like we have liquidity, or it makes sense for us to kind of retrace into this level, right? Although our bias is still bullish, right? We're kind of, that's not what's happening, right? That's not what's happening. We're slowly grinding down, right? And what looks like, or what looks to be happening is we're kind of retracing into this low where we want to fill in this fair value gap as well, right? But remember, this is also a fair value gap, right? This little gray box is a fair value gap. So maybe we want to rebalance the market, but most importantly, we're drawing towards this level, right? And once this happens, now this is good, right? But we still have to wait, right? We still have to wait. Doesn't mean you slap along, right? Just because your bias is bullish, Laser. Just because your bias is bullish does not mean you slap along, even though we swept this liquidity. That's why I kept saying you also have to wait for market structure to build, right? So once you start seeing market structure, yo, there's a market structure right here, right? Yeah, add timing to this mix. Yeah, maybe if it's during a macro or something, it's perfect, right? So look at, pretend this is also a market structure shift, right? You got your market structure shift right there. That's even better. So you wait for a retrace. Now this is giving me confidence that this is reversing, and now we're starting to push to the upside, right? So now what would the drawn liquidity be, right? What would the drawn liquidity be, Laser? It would be this high, right? Now we're starting to aim towards this high, right? And guess what? Along the way, we have more drawn liquidity targets, right? This is why I'm saying it's so important to have a drawn liquidity, bro. Like, always have a target to aim for so you could ride the trade into, right? So guess what? We're starting to build structure. Yep, buy side, right? So you would try to find an entry within this area. But this is so much better than what was happening before, right? When we were right here, right? Is because both bias and drawn liquidity are aligning, right? Because right here, it's pretty obvious the bias is bearish, right? Or sorry, yeah, the drawn liquidity is bearish, right? Although our bias is still bullish, right, on the higher time frame, it doesn't have to happen right away, right? You have to let the bias is over the course of the entire day, right? It'll take time for it to develop, right? We're not always gonna achieve our bias right off the bat, right? You have to let the drawn liquidity like develop, right? So once we take out this liquidity, right? Like I said, you don't enter long right away. You have to see the market structure build, right? And once it shows that, yo, like we're starting to reverse, how do you know what's being respected, what's being disrespected? Is there a market structure shift? Do you have drawn liquidity targets? You ask yourself all of that, and now the drawn liquidity is clear. So now this is gonna flip, right? So now this is drawn liquidity, and now you have something to target, right? You take a trade within here, and you're good to go. That's literally it. That was the most important thing I wanted to show you. Drawn liquidity and bias are completely different, in my opinion. I see a whole bunch of people when you're new to ICT, right? A whole bunch of people mix up the two. Okay, so how would you invalidate this? And would you choose to partials if there were too many internal okay, so that's a great question as well. How would I choose to invalidate this? It's simple, right? Our bias, okay, so let's pretend our bias is still bullish, right? Let's pretend that's what was going on in the entire day. I would invalidate this. Yeah, dude, it's the sauce, bro. No one, like ICT traders, when I first learned this, everyone just grouped bias together, and I'm like, yo, wait, they're completely different. Like drawn liquidity and bias are completely different. Bias is like over the course of the day, what you want to see over the long term, right? Drawn liquidity is always changing depending on the market structure, right? Maybe M1 correct. Okay. So yeah, so I would invalidate it a couple ways, right? Simply, one, I would invalidate this immediately right off the bat if we do something like this, where we continue to sell past this point, and we're trading like right here now, right? And we're like, I would invalidate that immediately, and then I would try to change my bias. Wouldn't necessarily. Okay, so here, this is a great question. That's a great question, right? Yeah, you asked. This is the question that you asked about when would I invalidate this, right? So when let's say we start continuing to sell past this point, right? Let's say we start continuing to sell past this point, and we're getting like we're opening up bearish fair value gaps in this place, right? And we're like right here, and this was like the nearest drawn liquidity, right? No, I wouldn't wait for the hourly invalidation. No, listen. I would, because we're scalpers at the end of the day. We're day traders, right? Like the hourly is gonna take so long to like develop, if that makes sense, right? I'm not gonna wait 1 hour for it to get invalidated, right? Like it starts getting invalidated immediately once it starts like breaking through, but like breaking through aggressively, right? If it's just wicking past like the drawn liquidity right here, right? If it's just wicking past the drawn liquidity, that's fine. Or like, you know, maybe it's building structure down here, then that's fine. But if we're continuously selling off like this, right? And then, you know, getting retraces, but then during these retraces, right, we're opening up fair value ups, but guess what? We're continuing to sell off, then I'm like, okay, at this point, I have to invalidate my bias, right? So this bias is no longer valid, right? At this point, I'm like, yo, even though this is what I want to see on the higher time frame, look, we're continuing. So I'm gonna pace it out for you, right? These are the same thing. That's basically what happened. This is basically what is happening on the higher time frame, right? And this is on the lower time frame, right? I have to invalidate my bias because now this is the new one drawn liquidity, right? This is the new drawn liquidity right here, right? And this basically this sell-off is us wanting to reach for that level, right? It's us wanting to reach for this level. So this right here, right? We're basically trying to get to this level, right? So I have to invalidate over, like I said, my bias going into the day was bullish, right? But throughout the day when it was developing, that's not what the bias was telling me, right? The bias, yo, we're selling off. And it was more confirmed by looking at the lower time frame market structure, right? Market structure on the lower time frame is, yo, we're respecting bearish PD rates, we're selling off. We want to get to this level. And we want to sweep it, right? And then from there I could decide my new game plan. Yeah, you literally just got it, bro. The drawn liquidity is the sell side liquidity target. Exactly, right? So once we sweep this level, laser. So laser, once we sweep this level, right? So say we sweep this level right here, right? Now my bias is undecided, right? So let's say my bias is now neutral, right? I don't know what the bias is, right? Let's say my bias, I don't know, right? So let me also do this here. Laser, you're getting it, my guy. Oh my god, you're getting it. Okay, so let me do this, right? So just so it's super clear to you, right? So let's say this, and then let's say this right here. And then right here, and then we're starting this, right? And then we get this. Okay, so laser, when we sweep this low, right, on the higher time frame, like I said, my bias is still, it's neutral, right? I don't have a game plan, right? I don't know if it's gonna go be bullish or bearish, right? So you just have to sit in your hands, right? But the drawn liquidity, right? So let's say this drawn liquidity is over here still, right? So we still got drawn liquidity, right? And say, like I said, we took out this low, right? So this is the same thing as right here, right? So this is the same thing as right here. So I'm marking it out for you, right? I'm marking it out so you can see the exact same level. So this is a lower time frame, higher time frame, right? At this point, right? At this point, when market starts doing this, right? And you're getting like hella aggressive buying back up, right? I think we could be more bullish, though low key drawn liquidity is undecided. I think maybe. Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly. That's a good thought, but you just have to kind of be neutral and sit on your hands. But it is a good sign, right? Why is it a good sign? Because, you know, we like, after sweeping liquidity, we like to target the other side. That's a good way of thinking, right? But you just don't know all the time. You don't know 100% of the time, so you just have to wait, right? And what and the waiting part is literally just this part right here, where the market structure is developing, right? So at this point, right? At this point, right? This is the same thing, right? These are the same thing, right? When we sweep this level and the lower time frame is doing this, right? What is the nearest drawn liquidity, right? Or sorry, what would be the drawn liquidity? Sorry. Yeah, let me ask you that, right? So let's say we're like, okay, so let me do this, right? Laser, let me say, was the run lower? We have to wait. I agree. Yeah, because the high frame is bullish too. And was the run lower? Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, so let's say right here, right, laser? Let's say right here, let me do this. Let's say right here, laser, there was an inversion fair value gap, right? This is the first sign that drawn liquidity could have flipped, right? Let's say we maybe, you know, there was a possibility that the drawn liquidity could still be lower, right? It could still be lower, right? But let's just ignore that for now, right? How we will determine the bias has flipped or the drawn liquidity has flipped is when you start seeing what's being respected, what's being disrespected. So let's say right here, right? In this scenario, right? In this scenario, laser, look at this. So I want you to pretend the green, let's pretend we swept liquidity right here, right? I just want you to pretend for a second, right? I just want you to pretend we swept liquidity right here, right? And you remember this swing high. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure you get this fucking shit, bro. I'm gonna make sure you understand this shit. So let me draw this circle red, right? Let's pretend that circle, this circle, and this circle are all the same. Right? I hope you can see that. It's kind of a miniature swing high, right? It's kind of a miniature swing high, right? So I want you to look at all these different things, right? Right? When we sweep some sort of significant low or liquidity, right? Our bias should be neutral, right? Because you don't know after sweeping this if we're just gonna sell off to the next drawn liquidity, right? You don't know. So you just have to sit on your hands. But then when you wait for market structure to develop, right? Ask yourself what's being disrespected and what's being respected, right? And look at right here, right? After sweeping this liquidity, right? We start inversing all these bearish fair value gaps. We start disrespecting it, right? We start disrespecting it, right? And then what? We retrace into here, right? And guess what? Let's pretend we start holding this level, right? Let's pretend we start holding to this level and we start pushing towards here, right? What is the current drawn liquidity? It's pretty obvious, right? It's probably gonna be this swing high, right? So now I could say with confidence that my drawn liquidity is gonna be bullish at the moment, right? At the moment, and then my bias is it was still bullish from this morning, right? Still, it took a little bit longer to play out, right? So now these are starting to align, and then I'm like, okay, this is good, but I have to make sure, right? So I'll probably wait. Let's say our bias, or sorry, our drawn liquidity is confirmed, right? Like we're pretty much confirmed. We confirmed our drawn liquidity by having it get taken, right? We have it get taken right here. So let's say we blow past this drawn liquidity, right? And then something like this happens, right? And then we open up another fair value gap, right? And we're starting to push. We're starting to push, right? Where is the next drawn liquidity? Well, mark out any swing highs, right? Like this, right? Or like this, right? So now my bias, I can like, okay, now my bias can fully play out, right? Now my bias can fully play out, and my drawn liquidity is finally playing out too, right? We took that high, right? We took this high, we retraced, and now we're starting to push, right? So now I want to target the ultimate high up here, right? Buy side liquidity, you got it, bro. And you start going, and it's just rinse and repeat, right? I know it looks like a lot, but it really isn't, right? That's literally it. I want you to understand this is literally the entire thing that I was showing you is literally just look at, you see this swing high right here, right? Let me just change the colors too. So let's do blue, right? So this, we're gonna try to target this up here, right? Let's pretend this is this. That's literally it, bro. We're just rinse and repeat. But bias, like I said, bias, it takes time to develop, right? It takes time to develop. But the drawn liquidity is something that's, it's constantly changing, right? So you gotta have to be very flexible with your drawn liquidity, right? And how you're able to determine that is, yo, what's being respected, what's being disrespected, how aggressively, okay, like, okay, there's kind of a cheat code for how you determine drawn liquidity, right? Two things is, ask yourself, let's see, what's being respected / right? And then two is how aggressively are we drawing towards a level? And what I mean by the second one, I got to be more mentally flexible and less rigid with my, exactly. So this morning when you were talking to me and last night when you messaged me and you were saying, yo, like I have to be 100% right. No, you don't, bro. You just gotta, the drawn liquidity was just changing, and that's why you were wrong, right? You have to be flexible and not be too married to bias, but that also means at the same time that you should not be flipping your bias left and right just because the drawn liquidity. You have to differentiate the two, if that makes sense, right? So when I say the first part, right, you should know by now, right, what's being respected, what's being disrespected. Obviously, yo, we're disrespecting bearish fair value gaps and we're holding bullish fair value gaps, right? So now that's telling me, okay, maybe if we're holding bullish fair value gaps, maybe the bias and the drawn liquidity is now bullish, right? So that's a good sign. The second way I will be able to identify that, right? So now I'm gonna wipe everything if you don't mind, right? Yeah, I hope you can watch this video later, so I won't take it down, so you'll be able to kind of look back just to get a better understanding, right? But look how aggressive we are buying back up, right? Look how aggressive we are buying back up, right? There's a lot of, think of it as like there's no hesitation when we're buying back up, right? There's no hesitation. I know this is not probably the greatest example, but let's see. Yeah, there's, okay, so it's a little bit choppy, but here, let's do this, right? You see how, okay, look at this. There's no hesitation when we're closing, right? There's barely any wicks, right? When we close in, right? When we're closing, like it's a full nice body candle close. We're opening up fair value gaps, right? That's also another thing is when you know we're pretty much like there's a clear bias when we start opening up a whole bunch of fair value gaps in one direction, right? So look at this. We open up a bullish fair value gap, right? We immediately opened up like two bullish fair value gaps and we're starting to push, right? But it's literally just how aggressively are we pushing towards the drawn liquidity, and that would just simply be just looking at the candles. Like one candle right here basically made up like 3 candles right here, right? If that makes sense, right? This one candle right here, right? In this center basically made up like 2 of these candles, right? So you can also look at how like the candles are printing, right? So like right here, this would be another example, right? You see how undecided we are in this area, right? And then all of a sudden you get some explosiveness, and we're opening up fair value gaps now, right? Opening up fair value gaps, right? Opening up fair value gaps, right? And then look at opening up more fair value gaps, right? So you could tell the drawn liquidity change, or you know, the bias changed for a little bit. But like, I want you to also understand one of these candles basically makes up like 3 or 4 of the bearish candles, right? If that makes sense, right? So that's pretty much it. That's how you are able to differentiate the two. But yeah, I think once you're able to differentiate drawn liquidity and then bias, right? These are 2 separate entities, right? The last thing, the last missing piece of your puzzle, right? Once you're able to do this, right? So let's see here. Right? So you got bias, right? And these are not ranked from the most important, right? I'm just kind of drawing it out, right? The last thing that you should ever have to worry about is entry, right? But I will 100% say with confidence that drawn liquidity is the most important thing you need to understand. Because your bias and drawn liquidity could still be different, but you could still make money, right? Your bias could be bullish going into the day, but you could take a short and still be making money, right? Even though you went against your daily bias, right? The drawn liquidity was short, and you took a short, and you won your trade. And the reason you won your trade was because you knew where the drawn liquidity was going, and you took it, right? If that makes sense. I said, the bias, let's say you had like a bullish bias going into the day, right? Market structure is pretty obviously bullish, right? But then all of a sudden you start seeing a sell off and shit, and you know exactly where the drawn liquidity is, because you're able to say, you're able to see how aggressive we are selling off into that level. You have a clear target. You take a short, right? You take a short and you win, right? It's not, you don't always have to wait for both of them to align, right? You could do this, right? So boom. But yeah, most important, right? I would say. And then entry is literally anything after that, right? This is your order block. This is your fair value gap. This is your breaker block. This is your turtle soup, right? Anything that falls, anything in that category goes under here, right? But drawn liquidity is just, you got to separate the two, right? This is one, this is two separate entities. And once you do that, bro, you're good to go, bro. I'm telling you. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today. It was a bit of a long session, but I hope that makes it a little bit more clear. If it still doesn't make sense, right? Watch my strategy video first, right? Now I got you, bro. I got you, man. Watch my strategy video first. Just watch it, you know, skim through it if you have to, right? Because basically everything I said just now is in that video, and it'll make a little bit more sense, right? And then once you do that, maybe come back to this if you have to, right? You don't need to, but I think you got a good grasp, because by the end of it, you are already predicting where I was saying, right? So, hey, that's pretty much all I got, bro. That's pretty much all I got. I think you're starting to get the hang of it, though. But yeah, I just want you, the biggest takeaway I want you to understand is drawn liquidity and bias completely different. And once you're able to differentiate the two, your trading is gonna become a lot easier, bro. I'm telling you. But thank you for hanging around, bro. You were here the entire time, so that was pretty crazy, bro. Yeah, I'll keep this video up, bro, so you could just revert back to it if it still doesn't make sense and you need another explanation. But yeah, I got you, bro. Let me know if you have any more questions, and good luck in your trading, bro. You could make it. You could do it. I got you, bro. I love you too. Yeah, you gotta sleep, bro. But hey, I'll see you when I see you next time.